and welcome back to another episode of the 8-Bit Retro Refix. And on this episode we're going to build the DesTest MAX-Switch diagnostic cartridge for the Commodore 64. The reason why we want to build one of these is because this does a lot more than what the DesTest cartridge does. So the DesTest cartridge goes into what they call the multi-max mode, where it uses the first 4K of memory, if I'm getting this right, which came from the Commodore Max. What this will do is it'll use the first 4K. On the DesTest cartridge you just get a series of flashes. On this one you actually get a visual image of what's going on the screen. Once we've built this, I'm going to put it into my ZIF C64 and we'll create some problems and see if it finds them. By creating problems I mean by removing a chip, memory chip, etc. and stuff like that, and we'll see what happens with it. As like the DesTest cartridge, it only needs the CPU, the PLA and the VIC to be running correctly for this to work. So this board is quite clear. I'll put a picture up so you can see it a bit easier than on this video, because if I do that, I've got to stand and check around. So I'll put that picture up. So you can see there in the top left corner we've got power for our LED. We've got a 390k resistor and two 10k resistors. Just underneath that, if I can see properly, just underneath that is a 100 NF with another 100 NF over there, with another 100 NF there and an 100 PF there. There's a jumper down here and some jumpers up here for setting the address lines for this ROM. But if you use a 27C512, you just need to, you put a jumper across that top one, jumper across that top one, and the jumper across these bottom left ones. And you could actually just use the resistor legs. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a jumper in like that, just so I can alter it if I ever need to change the size of that chip, which I don't think I will. So if you guys were building one of these, you could just use resistor legs for that. You can purchase these from PCBWay. And on that note, we'll have a word from our sponsors. So thanks very much for sponsoring this video, PCBWay. Take it away. If you are enjoying these videos and you'd like to make things yourself, or you already are making things, then get yourself over to PCBWay. They do everything from PCB prototypes to PCB assembly to flexible PCBs, HDI, CNC machining and 3D printing. They also do a lot of things in the shared projects, so if you have a look in there, there is a plethora of things that you can actually purchase. If you're wanting something from the Commodore 64 to the Spectrum to the Apple, everything's in there that you could possibly ever want. So get yourself down to PCBWay. So ordering is very, very simple. So just navigate to the item that you want, add to cart, and this is where you fill in all your parameters. So we want single pieces, you can change the design panel. Got 5 pieces down here, and for $5 that's a bargain. I will put a link in the description so you can get to these boards. The copyright law on these boards, because if you look at the bottom, it does say copyright 2025, a factor of Matt. The copyright law states that you are allowed to purchase these boards from PCBWay and build one for yourself. And if you want to build one for a friend and give it away, you can do, and that's fine, not a problem at all. But you're not allowed to build these and sell them in mass production. I.e., if I built these 10 and then put them on eBay or something like that and sold them, you're not allowed to do that. And I'm going to get this board built and then we'll take a look at what it actually can do. 10k resistors now. So okay, that says 390Rs and has 10k resistors in. So what am I going to go for next? Let's put the 100 PF in. Right, sneaked ahead a little bit and I did the others as well. So we've got the PFs and the NFs are all in there now. So we just have one PF and them 3 are NFs, the other 3. So we're getting there now. So next thing I'm going to do is put the chips in. So okay, that says chips in. Getting there, we're getting there, almost there. Right, let's go for the EEPROM. We've already programmed this EEPROM. I programmed it with a TL866 programmer. These are just Winborn 27C512s, and all you do is you just times it by 4 to fill it up. It may work if you just put it straight on. I'm not sure, but I always like to fill the chips up. So I made mine and I copied it 4 times onto the different locations on the chip, so we know it's going to be right no matter what. So let's get the chip in. I decided to put a socket in there. Just remember, when you're putting your chips in, all the chips point with the notch on, go to the left. Just remember that. So like I said, I decided to put a socket in so I can change that if I wish. So let's put that in there now, and then I'm going to put in the reset button. So that's the reset button in. I've put a nice tall one in because that's going to go into the case nicely. So let's get the jumpers and the resistors in next, and then we can take a look at what it actually does. We've got it all built up now. All I need to do is plug it into the C64 and test it out. But first, if you look at the back of it, it's covered in flux. So I'm going to have to dump that into the ultrasonic cleaner before we try it out. So when I've done that, I'll be right back. Right, okay, we've got the ZIF socket C64 diagnostic machine, and we have got our DesTest MAX-Switch. This is a 3D printed case that you can get off PCBWay as well, on the advert for the PCBs on there. So you can download this STL files for this straight off PCBWay's website as well. So right, okay, let's get this plugged in and let's see if it works. That's my old one that I used to use. Plunger wasn't long enough to reach through the hole, which this one does now. You can just see that through there, look. If I'm all well, you see it poking through. And the LEDs were too low down, so there wasn't poking through the holes. So we've got a power on, which is great when we're testing machines because we don't normally have the LED plugged in. So that'll allow us to know that the system's still switched on without us pulling chips in and out. Because it does happen. And that's just a light that shows you when it's going to do a reset. So let's plug that in and let's see if it works. So in it goes. Have we got any lights from it? Yo! I'll take you up to the screen in a minute, but if we reset it, there we go, yeah. That's great. So we're all up and running and we're working for the DesTest switch cartridge. So I'm just going to reposition the camera now so you can see the screen. I haven't done capture on this one, I'm just going to do it straight off the LCD screen. So I'm hoping that you're going to get some good visuals from that. So what we're going to do is try it. I'm going to pull out, there's a memory chip here we can pull. We can pull the kernel basics and the CIAs to see whether it does anything. We do need, like I said in the beginning, we do need the CPU, the PLA, and we need the VIC running to be able to use either DesTest or the DesTest MAX-Switch. Whew, that's a right mouthful, that. Right, let's get up to the screen. Right, okay, so let's just switch it on now and see what it does with everything running perfectly. And we're up and running, look. So you can see it's testing down there. You can see Todd at the bottom, which is telling you your CIA chips, your timings, so which is great. This is going through all the color RAMs, etc. and stuff like that. It's testing down the, you can see the 4K. You can see it testing color now. And the border, yeah, it does these flashy things around the side of the border to let you know that it's still alive, because otherwise if it had frozen or something like that, you would never know. So that should be done the 4K pre-test. Now that's just switched straight over to the 4K memory test. You can see basic there, character, ROM and kernel, they were all in green. So that's checking these checksum for us. So when we come back round and test again, we'll take a look at them and see what it comes up with. But there you go, look, we're going round and round in circles. It's testing the colour, it's testing 4 to 32K. Next it will be doing 32 to 64, and then it's going to test 1K to 64K all the way through, which this does take quite a while to get through. So I might just skip you past that, because everything's checking out okay anyway. So let's switch it off again. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the, I think it's character. I always get these three mixed up, but it's the one on the left. Let's see what that does. So it goes through the first things again as per normal. When it gets to the bottom, we should see on the left hand side in the middle of the screen here, it should say in red writing, so that would show us that that ROM's bad. So let's see if it gets to that. Come on, come on. Come on. I do like this cartridge, it is really good. If you're into your 64s, the DesTest Switch cartridge is the way forward. So there you go, look, basic. See it in red? So basic ROM's bad. So let's put that basic ROM back in and let's try something else. So just for a quickie, let's pull a CIA out, which is next to that basic ROM, and see what that does. So we can automatically see at the bottom it's already gone in red, and you can see that the times are out. So that's showing us that as timers are out on the CIAs. So that's great, that's showing us that as well. So what can I take out now? Let's try a RAM chip. Let's take out that RAM chip and see what happens. Boom, showing you straight away, look, that it's bad on the RAM, and it's showing bit 3, which is correct for the position of the RAM chip that I've removed anyway. So yeah, that's awesome. So I take that back off, put the RAM chip back in, put the switch back on, and everything should be back to normal and good. So that's it, guys, how to build a DesTest MAX-Switch cartridge. As I said before, all the links are in the description for you to be able to get hold of these. Thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure showing you how to do this. Please check out the description for the YouTube retro repairers, the likes of Captain Commodore and Retro for You. Retro for You is doing some great stuff at the minute with Amigas and things like that. So check out their channels. And if you haven't done it by now, if you've enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up, notification bell, and hit the subscribe. It all helps towards the channel and keeps us going. So we'll see you on the next one.